Zippity doo-dah, zippity day. My. It's a wonderful day for the Digibros.
And that's it, just and.
Alright, we're back in the game.
Yeah, it's Ocarina of Time.
We're playing Ocarina of Time.
We've got energy again, we're hype,
We've
ready.
got hella hype.
We got the touch,
hella energy.
we got the power,
we
got the pots.
We've got the motion.
Victor, what have you been up to today? What's going on? What's happening? It's a new play session.
Went on a fun double datey thing. It was cool.
Double datey. Ooh.
Yeah.
You're not dating anyone, so how is this possible?
You can have a friend date.
A friend date.
Just me and Hope and Sergio and his girlfriend.
So not a date.
Time.
It's just hanging out with your friends.
Sure.
Explain in more detail, please.
What the date aspect of it?
Yeah, anything. Just talk about it.
Anyways,
I'm trying to get dialogue out of you.
Well,
man.
you made it confusing.
This is the part where you take a sip because I'm telling Victor he's too quiet. By the way.
Anyways, so yeah, we went and saw the movie Chappie. Just pretty cool. It's a pretty good movie. It's a lot of fun. You should go see it.
Yes, I was saying to Victor earlier that it was a movie that I could tell I was going to like it because of the bad reviews. Specifically what they said, because the film's getting slaughtered by critics pretty much.
I would say it's not for everyone.
It's like 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my god,
so it's
that's
like
depressing.
Getting slayed, right? But the things that are being said about it, first of all, I loved both of Neil Blomkamp's other movies. District 9 was absolutely fantastic. Most people didn't really care for Elysium because they thought it was too heavy-handed.
Like Elysium.
I mean, it wasn't.
I didn't like the pacing of it because it really just kind of drags you through, and it doesn't give you time to really
no
think about
hand
the characters
gestures, more gameplay.
I'm waiting for the fucking sun to rise, you ass.
I'm sorry.
I'm literally sitting here doing nothing.
You just turned to me and started gesturing, and I was like, "We're not on camera. What are you doing?"
I know. I'm fucking. I need to go get the Sun Song or some shit.
Anyway,
this is ridiculous.
I agree with you that that Elysium. Well, go get the Sun Song. It's in.
I can't. I gotta. No, it's in. It's in the bay.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And I need Epona to get there to get the Sun Song.
Yes.
So.
Anyways. Yeah. Elysium did have kind of awkward pacing. I didn't mind the heavy-handedness of the message, but the film was very humorless. Yeah, that made it harder to get into. It was very like.
I didn't care a lot about the characters.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's that sort of movie, and which is the opposite of District 9, because District 9 roped you in with the funny aspect, and even though you don't really like the main character per se,
he's decent.
Yeah, he's an interesting enough character to carry the movie.
And he has interesting development where it's like at first he's on one side and then he's forced into this ridiculous scenario and he's forced to change and like.
But I still think
adapt.
Elysium was a very cool movie.
Yeah,
it's definitely a movie.
It's cool.
That I
wish I could see it again. So
now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably been out on Blu-ray for a long time, and I'm like, I should buy that on Blu-ray. That'd be a good Blu-ray. So I liked his other movies, and then Chappie, the reviews that came out for it were like, well, the message is kind of heavy-handed, and it's really and it's really inconsistent tone and stuff like that. But the way that the reviews were written, it was the exact same thing people said about Speed Racer when it came out. And Speed Racer's my favorite movie. You know, like that movie was critically fucking panned. But you know what I'm really waiting for because of this is like to hear what Film Crit Hulk thinks of Chappie, because he loves Speed Racer, and he's the type who is. I guess me and Film Crit Hulk both have a bone to pick with critics harping on
cheesy movies. I guess.
Not just cheesy. The word that Film Crit Hulk used that I fucking love, and I'm thinking about writing something about this for anime, is amalgamation. And the idea is that like a film, too many critics act like a film has to be one thing. Yeah. You know, like, oh, this is a dark film, so everything in it should be dark. Yeah. You know, or at least it should have a consistent tone. You know, like if there's gonna be comedy, it has to be comedy that fits the tone of the film. You know, but life is not like that.
Exactly.
Life is not consistent in tone. Sometimes you're sitting around having a good day, you know, laughing with your friends, and then someone dies, and it's shit. like the song TV on 10 by The Uncluded.
Yeah.
You know, where they're all sitting around watching TV, and then a plane crashes in the ocean, and one of the guys finds out his mom was on that plane.
Yeah.
You know, and the chorus of the song is, "It happens sometimes," you know. Shit like that happens. Yesterday, me and you were watching Digibros, an episode of Digibros. They're just like laughing, having a good time. My mom just comes in the room just crying.
Yeah.
Asking us, please don't commit suicide. Because
watching too much TV.
Yeah, she was watching something about bullying and people like killing themselves and stuff. Me and Victor both dealt with depression in our teens, and both of us had a moment where we sort of came out about it to our parents, and they had no idea that we were depressed or having suicide. Well, particularly for me, I had said that I was having suicidal thoughts, and my parents have been terrified ever since. But
see how now I'm not tired and I just breeze through that horse
like
thing?
It was nothing.
That's how it's
we
meant
were
to
very
be done.
exhausted at the end of the
very
last
exhausted.
playthrough. I was pretty drunk and
and I was relatively annoyed.
But anyways, sometimes things change up at random. You know, life is a multifaceted animal, and sometimes the best way to explore a character or a set of characters, excuse me, is to you know, represent all of their different emotions. And like the movie Speed Racer, part of what's cool about it is that like you see every angle of Speed Racer's life. You learn everything about him. You see him in the hard times with his family, the good times, you know, when his little brother's being silly, when things are getting dark and dramatic. It's like everything about life is in the movie. Yeah. And Film Crit Hulk called that an amalgamation. It's a bit of everything. And outside of Western filmmaking, this is not uncommon. Yeah. And that's what Bollywood is. Bollywood movies, the theory for Bollywood movies, they're typically like 4 hours long, and they are just everything. Every conceivable fucking thing. There's drama, there's action, there's comedy, there's musical bits, there's like every possible thing a movie could have is in a Bollywood movie. And like to Western audiences, we're just like, well, it's a cultural difference. It's crazy. But if a Western movie came out that was like that, we would pan that shit. You know?
Definitely.
Like, we try to be more like it's kind of like, you know, white people trying to be like, well, I don't want to seem like I don't understand other people's culture. So if they do it, then it's just whatever. It's, you know, it's a different sensibility. But when an American movie comes out like that, it's a piece of shit. Yes. You know, and I think there needs to be more defense of the amalgamation style, because most anime are like that. Most anime do not have a consistent tone, and funnily enough, the ones that have a more consistent tones are the ones that get popular. Like Attack on Titan, it's just fucking depressing all the time, you know. Although even that show has like the stupid comedy bits with the potato girl. Oh god. Which
are those comedy?
I thought they were funny. And like, you know, Death Note tries to, like, Death Note cleverly hides its comedy, where it's like it's the serious faced comedy.
The juvenile aspect of it is what makes it entertaining.
Right. Which is like the best part of the whole show to me, show and manga. And the sad thing, like, that's what makes the second half kind of suck, is that it kind of loses that. And everyone thinks that the second half sucks just because L died and the other villains weren't as interesting, which is kind of true, but I think it was mostly that it's just too serious after that point. It just kind of like falls apart. What do you mean, you didn't even read Death Note past
I mean,
L
you've
dying.
told me a fucking million stories of Death Note, so I'm very familiar with Death Note.
I didn't realize how familiar you were. So yeah, when I was reading about Chappie, I was like, it sounds like that kind of movie. Would you say it's that kind of movie?
Not even to that extreme extent. I mean, it's just kind of like, I thought it really worked the way they do the comedy, where it's like it is kind of cheesy comedy sometimes, but it makes sense because Chappie's supposed to be like this child coming into this world, and then he's learning from the people around him at an incredibly fast rate, and it's real like quick. He acts very realistically like a kid. Right. Like, it makes sense, everything that he does, and he's so innocent, and he's just corrupted by the people around him, and it's just awesome. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
I had some profound things, but then it's like, and then the sci-fi, the mega sci-fi thought-provoking aspect is really pushed to the background, which I loved about it, because in the trailers, I thought the funny thing was there were two ways that this was marketed. The first trailer I ever saw was more about like what it really is with the Chappie sort of experiencing like being raised by these hip hop people, and it seemed kind of amusing, and I thought that was cool. And then I saw a lot of trailers that were billing it as like the thought-provoking action sci-fi thing,
Right?
And I didn't like that at all. I was like, that's I don't want to see another fucking
Elysium.
Elysium. So I was worried about it, but then I saw I don't know hold on, what am
You
I
gotta play on that pedestal.
No, that's for the fire arrows. But Sheik is supposed to be in that tree, right?
I think you gotta play something here. We always get silent when you play these fucking songs.
I'm trying to figure this out before I keep ranting and like just stand around, but now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it was about the marketing.
Right.
But I had seen one of the actresses was on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he's doing this interview with her, and he's trying to like talk about like the thought-provoking sci-fi stuff because he obviously has only seen trailers for it,
Right.
And he saw those trailers. And then the woman who was on there was not really a major actress in it, but she was talking about like Chappie being raised by hip hop artists, and like Jon Stewart's trying to make like this thought-provoking conversation,
Right.
And it seemed from her perspective that the movie was not about that,
Right.
And I was like, okay, so this is not the way they're advertising it. And then literally all of that stuff from the trailer was introduced in like the first 5 minutes of the movie really fast, and then they moved past it. Like it was all the world building right out of the way, and then it's not really about that.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Yeah, there were some neat things with the consciousness. I don't want to spoil it for you, but the ending is very like interesting, kind of like, wow, they really went there and they didn't care how cheesy it was gonna be in the end.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a satisfying ending, because I was like, they didn't end it tragically. They went for the whole fucking. They went all the way.
They went for all the marbles.
Yes, all the marbles.
Do you have to go to the ice cave? When is the ice cave?
I think that's. I know I need the water tunic. I do need to go to the ice cave, but I thought I met Sheik here first so I could teleport back. Because I do need to get the metal boots and the Zora tunic, but I thought I had to go here first. Alright, let's go to the ice cave. That's,
Get that pony.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go back to Zora's domain.
Yeah, it's
Son of a
it's
bitch.
behind Jabu Jabu's place.
Yeah, I remember. Getting my order mixed up.
Oh shit, yeah. So good movie, you highly recommend it?
Yes, highly recommend. If you enjoy having fun when you watch a movie,
Right.
like we were, it was a good watch. We made a
you
lot of
know-
jokes about the movie, and the movie lends itself to a lot of fun jokes.
I
and that's
feel like
good.
our audience is more the type who will like it, because they're people
Yeah.
who like the stuff I like a lot of the time. And
cheesy stuff.
right, well, I'm all about anime. Half my audience is from My
Yeah.
Little Pony,
I'm
stuff
sure an
that's
anime sensibility helps going into it.
Well, that's the thing, like, because there's a lot of argument about this stuff with anime, where when I watch, because lately I've been getting into anime reviews on YouTube, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who do them, not a lot of people who do really analytical ones, but there's somewhat of an emerging trend that I may partly be helping to make a bigger thing, because like there's this dude Ocelot who's emerged, who's done some cool analytical stuff. Goat Jesus completely decided that he's going to stop doing reviews and only do analysis because he thinks reviews are pointless, and I agree. And Demolition D gets pretty analytical in his stuff too, right? So there's a few people getting more analytical, but most of the reviews I read on anime just do not resonate with me at all.
Yeah.
And it's usually because those people have like a very rigid standard for what they think something is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And they just hold everything to that standard.
Uh-huh.
And you can't do that, because different stuff has different intentions and comes from different
I
places.
can definitely see if you were going into Chappie looking for if you were looking for Elysium in that movie, where you're looking for more of a deep sci-fi action film, thought-provoking thing, then you're not going to get that. It's more about having fun in a sci-fi setting.
Right, but not just that, but like people are gonna say what everyone's gonna say about the movie and what they already have, and what anime reviewers would say about the movie would be that it tries to mix comedy that doesn't fit with its serious message. That's what everyone's gonna say about it. And what they're forgetting is that you can make a movie that's like that, and it can be good.
Yes.
If it's a good movie. But I think people who are critics, mind you, and I hesitate to consider myself a critic for this reason, because I don't think I watch movies to hold them to an existing standard I have, right? If I enjoy something, I enjoy it on its merits. If I dislike it, I dislike it for personal reasons. It's never like... And I say that, but like this is part of why my Zankodo Terror review was so bad. Yeah. Because I made it out like this show is doing something wrong because it's not fitting this pre-established idea I have of what a show should do. When really it was just the individual details of it that made it bad. Yeah. It was just not a well put together show, and I think Anime Addicts did a good job of exploring that in his Sucks or Not video on it. Anyways, besides the point. Which I have now lost. You lost the point. I've now lost the point. I guess it was just that, like...
I think we got a good discussion about Chappie. Yeah. I think we can have another good discussion after you see Chappie.
Yeah, probably. I just think that...
I would love to talk about, like...
I just think that so many people
of the ideas in it.
Come at these things and they're like, oh, it sucks because it's mixing comedy and drama. And it's like, okay, well, does it do the comedy well? Does it do the drama well? And if you had known it was going to do that, would you have felt the same? That's the questions I would ask. Because I think so many people base their reviews on first impressions, and first impressions hold very little water for me. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying you can't review something just because, like, after your first watch of it. But if something, like, is not what you expected, watch it again before you review it, because chances are your expectations have tainted what you thought of it, definitely. You know? Like, if I go in to watch a movie and the pacing is not what I expect, and then I write a review where I complain about the pacing, and then I watch it again, and now that I know what it's going to be, the pacing no longer bothers me, my review is instantly pointless. That happens to me all the time. I'll watch something, I'll be like, oh man, the pacing was really weird, and then I watch it again and I don't care, because I know that the pacing's going to be weird. I set myself up for that expectation, and then I just enjoy what's actually in the movie, you know? Even Speed Racer was kind of like that. Like, I loved the shit out of that movie the first time I saw it, but, like, it is really weird. There's a lot of stuff that happens in that movie, but once you know that it's all coming, you can just kind of sit back and be like, okay, I know what's coming, you know. I know this is going to be a long, weird experience, but let's look at each scene and see what that scene's doing, and if that scene is a good part of the movie, does it fit with the movie, you know? Like,
are you kidding me?
Are you, like, instead of asking, does the comedy and drama fit together, ask, does each part add something to the experience? Yeah. Does it have a point, you know? And if it does have a point, then it should be there.
I'll definitely say in Chappie it has a point, because it makes you love Chappie. And it's like, it makes you love the other characters. And if you didn't care about them, you wouldn't give a fuck, you know, about the rest of the film.
I was just saying this to Mom about this is why I can't... And mind you, I could easily be talking out of my ass here, because I have not actually sat through any of these films, like, all the way through.
Oh, God.
I've watched maybe 10 minutes of each, but it was more than enough of the Hunger Games films. They seem to be the most humorless, boring fucking movies ever. Because every character is taking, like, it's all just bleak. It's all completely, everything's fucking gray and blue. Everything. I watched like 10 minutes of the second film, and I kept, like, coming back through the room because it was on TV. And every time I was in the room, the whole screen was blue. Everything. Everything was blue. The trees were blue. The water was blue. The outfits were blue. Their skin was blue. Everything was blue. It was always depression color blue. It looked like, you know, those commercials where it's like, does your world look like this? Yes. And then you take the antidepressant and it looks different. Oh my God. Whole movie looks like a depression commercial. And the characters are always either like sad about someone who has died, sad about the fact that they are going to die, sad about the fact that, you know, they need to stop someone from dying. Everything's drama. Everything is just high. Like, the only sympathy you're supposed to feel for anyone is like they're gonna die sympathy, you know? And I was like, when you're watching a movie, And there's that one character who's like sort of the funny guy who you really like.
Yes.
And then he has like a powerful death scene. That shit, it like hits you because you don't want him to die.
Yeah.
You like that guy as a person. You wanted him to be around because he was fun and he was the funny guy, you know. But and it has to be earned. You can't just if you just kill the funny guy just to kill him, people are gonna hate it.
Sucks.
People are gonna be like,
wow, fuck
why?
this.
Like what the? Like it's just emotionally manipulative. But if the funny guy dies in like an epic way, that is the most emotional thing you're ever gonna have. You know, wow, the funny guy
or if he
turned
goes
out to be a badass.
Glory,
right? Exactly. If he dies in like a really cool way, then everyone's gonna remember that. You know, like fucking like I am Groot or we are Groot.
It reminds me of Groot in like Catan. Where it's like he never take Catan seriously until he's about to die, and you're like, holy shit.
But he did enough badass shit throughout the story that, like, even though he was like the second fiddle guy, he always felt like he was doing something meaningful, and then like he goes out in such a cool way that it's like really emotional when it happens, you know. But like with something like the Hunger Games, I don't give a fuck because all the characters have done is be sad. None of them is someone I would ever hang out with, ever.
Yes.
You know. They all just look like boring, sad fucking people in their boring, sad world. Why would I ever give a fuck about these people?
Yes.
Like, and if they die, I'm just like, oh, whatever. Exactly what I thought was gonna happen happened. You know, like when a character dies in like The Walking Dead, and it's like, or even Game of Thrones, or no, Game of Thrones is the one show that kind of does this right. Where in Game of Thrones, you never really expect anyone to die because everyone seems like the main character.
Yes.
So when someone dies, you're like, huh. Like, but you kind of do because you know everyone's gonna fucking die. Like you go into the series
I always love Game
that.
of Thrones because everyone dies with a purpose. They're hardly ever wasted.
Like, the thing is, like in so many stories, it's like the character is just
these fucking bats.
Like the character doesn't do anything until they're about to die, and then they do something, and you're like, they're gonna die, and then they die.
Yes.
I have to, like, it's dramatic when a character dies when I've cared about them for a long time.
Yes.
You know, when I've been, like, invested in their development. And, like, Game of Thrones does that pretty well, even though, again, I think that I went into the show expecting everyone to die, so I don't ever get too attached to anyone, because I'm like, they're all just gonna die, you know. But when it comes out of left field, or when it's like...
Oh my fucking god!
Gurren Lagann handles character death perfectly.
Yes.
You named the perfect show, because there's no character you really expect to die, because they're all built up so well.
Yes.
And it doesn't kill everyone, but it does kill a lot of people.
Yes.
And every single one's unexpected. Every single one you feel something towards, because they were all cool, memorable characters who you liked for a long time, and they died in awesome ways.
Yeah.
You know. TLDR, Gurren Lagann's perfect. That's the end of this episode of Digibros.
Woo!